Joining us now is radio host Stacy Washington, who also serves as a member of the President's Advisory Board, Black Voices for Trump. Stacy, when we look at the way that the media is handling several situations right now, I mean, we could go back to coronavirus, we could go back to the recent protests that have taken place across the country. There's been criticisms about the media for a long time now, but do you think that this is something that the American people are starting to get adjusted to a little bit, acknowledging the biases of each network, for example, and knowing that each information comes with a grain of salt?
Actually, I don't think that's what's happening. I think most Americans really, and by most, I mean the ones who watch NBC, CNBC, MSNBC, I think they watch those networks and they think, wow, this is unbiased reporting. And the stories that prove that they're biased don't actually make it onto those networks. They don't cover their own biases. So unless you watch Fox News or One American News Now, or you go on YouTube or try to kind of get your own news, you don't get that. And the problem that I have with it is not so much that they have a viewpoint, it's that they couch that viewpoint as the mainstream unbiased presentation of news, as opposed to saying, look, we're basically the comms department and Oppo research area for the Democrat Party. And if you want something that's going to be fair to Republicans, you need to go watch some of their outlets. They don't present themselves in that way. And I think the Republicans are kind of, it seems like they've got their arms kind of locked behind their backs and they're not sure what to do, whether it's taking another look at Section 230 or even just the wholesale creation of new networks or the promotion of existing networks like this one that actually give unbiased reporting. And so it's a problem.
I think you are speaking to something that is so true, and it's the idea that they're speaking to their kind of own little ecosystem a little bit. They only want to kind of tell their viewers what they want to hear. They don't want to bring in opposing viewpoints. In fact, that is a policy on some of the MSNBC shows where they won't bring on pro-Trump voices, for example. They say that they don't give them the truth, but I mean, they're ignoring the other half of every single argument. And you could say the same thing about CNN to a big degree. I mean, how often do you see a pro-Trump commentator or anything coming on the network like that? And to the point that you're bringing up about NBC, what they did yesterday was an attempt to deplatform at least two conservative news outlets. I mean, you can say what you want about those news outlets, but it was an effort for them to take down or at least demonetize them to some degree. I mean, what does that speak about right now, where we are journalistically and the polarization that we see?
So I have a huge problem with what happened yesterday because they're so tone deaf to their own bias that they actually were talking about what they were doing as if it was normal. We have some research and an investigation that we're going to present to you about the Federalist. And it's not articles that were written by their writers or guest opinion people. It's the comment sections, which I defy you right now, while you've got your phone in your hand, you're watching this, just navigate over to YouTube on your YouTube app. Scroll down on anything on there, even if it's a benign home improvement DIY video, and you'll find people spewing nonsense in the comments. So should Google take its own property, YouTube, down or demonetize it because people spew awful things in the comments? That's what we're talking about with the Federalist. And the same kind of campaigns exist against Breitbart, against Tucker Carlson, and against OANN. I mean, come on, you guys had one of your shirts worn by a man. He's a private citizen. He could be able to wear any shirt he wants. He's had to apologize and genuflect before this cancel culture. So look, I'm all about the free expression of viewpoints and opinions. I don't want to silence anyone who disagrees with me. I do have a problem with people spewing communist and socialist type things without rebuttal. But I mean, this is America. You have the right to talk and have your own opinions. But to present yourself as the fourth estate, which is an unbiased reporting of news without opinion, that's wrong. That's lying. That's duplicitous. And to actually go out of your way to try to strip people's livelihoods from them. The people at the Federalist don't write those articles for fun or for kicks. They write and work over there. They earn a living with that work. They actually pay mortgages and buy groceries with that work. To deplatform them is to take away the livelihood of people that you disagree with for ideological viewpoint. That is not something that should be happening in America.
And Stacy, I don't think that the Republican leadership understands the seriousness of this situation. I mean, it's something where they put it on the back burner. We only hear about it, for example, today we hear Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, them introducing some maybe proposals to combat this issue. But I don't think they understand that if these people are successful in deplatforming the Federalist, for example, and it won't stop there. They'll come after OAN, Fox News, Daily Caller. If they're successful in doing that, Republicans will not have the microphone that they have going to an election year or to even get their perspective out when it comes to some of these key key issues. Do you think this is something that Republican lawmakers should start making more of a pivotal campaign issue rather than just something that they respond to when a situation like this arises?
So you spoke of Josh Hawley. Senator Hawley is from the great state of Missouri. He's our junior senator here, and he has been a leader in the area of viewpoint discrimination and the social media giants and their misbehaviors. So I think it would just be good to me, like we have the conservative caucus, we have, the progressive caucus. I wish we had maybe the social media caucus, and it could have Democrats and Republicans on it, because there are some Democrats out there who actually think this is wrong as well.
Yeah.
And that those legislators could come up with some viable options for us as Americans. Because I understand if I had come up with a fantastic idea, started an online social media platform, and brought it to the forefront, and it was the giant in the industry, and I, being Stacy on the right, I'm got a right-sided viewpoint, and I wanted to push right-sided ideas and kind of subvert lefty ideas, I would kind of bristle at someone telling me I couldn't do that. But if I was using my dominance in the market to completely crush Democratic ideas, then I think if the Senate and the Congress got involved and said, hey, look, Stacy, we know you're on the right, but you can't make America on the right. It's not America on the right. I think I would have to kind of dial it back a little bit. And if I didn't, then they would actually use legislation to make me. I just don't understand why we're not doing that. And so it's Senator Mike Lee, Senator Lindsey Graham. There's a bunch of them. They need to just take a moment away from their other issues and get alongside Josh Hawley and figure something out for us, because we've already lost the NRA, which was an amazing organization that was able to help press policy issues on behalf of the Second Amendment. They've been kind of neutralized by a number of different factors, one of which was the gun ban lobby. So without them, and potentially without huge outlets like the Federalist, where would we be?
Yeah.
I mean, we really need to consider that, because that's the aim of the left.
No, I think you're right. And even when you talk about that, this could be a bipartisan issue. I mean, it was just during the primary season where Senator Elizabeth Warren was basically siding with Josh Hawley, saying that she wanted to go as far to break up some of these big tech companies. So I think you're right on to say that this could be something that's met with bipartisan support, because we already hear a lot of Democrats talking about how bad Facebook is, how bad Google is, stemming back from their allegations from the 2016 election. So I think this is an issue where we could see some progress. But Stacy Washington, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, breaking down this issue. Thank you.